Hey, 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 happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. Yes, that's right. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of thegaminggang.com. Welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, March 12th, 2020. And this is episode 500. I should say 500. 400. God, I'm getting ahead of myself, right? 454 of the Daily Dope. So, want to point out that if this is your first time popping in to check out the show. This is very, very casual. Just kind of share the latest tabletop gaming news. Usually I have some chat going on. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little bit about pop culture, movies, PC games, things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty much usually tabletop gaming. This is a very casual stream as well. So also want to point out that because this is a live stream, that means chat is available on YouTube. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. And of course, subscribe to the channel. If so, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only notify you of when the Daily Dope goes live, Mondays through Thursdays, it'll also tell you when my standalone videos get uploaded as well. Do have the first look at the 12th Doctor source book for the Doctor Who role-playing game from my friends over at Cubicle 7 Entertainment on the horizon. Still have not received the Dungeons & Dragons Explorer's Guide to Wildemont. Hopefully get that tomorrow or sometime over the weekend. And of course, I always shoot those videos for the D&D stuff the day they arrive, because I know people love to get a handle on those quickly. So, a Gray Day is also in chat with us tonight so far. Good to see you, Gray Day. Do want to point out, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, so kicking it tonight a little bit. Got some news, got a good mixture of news. Do want to point out it is Thursday, so that means that go over to the Epic Games website, epicgames.com. Go to the store, and this week you can score 3 free games. All 3 are indies. They're smaller releases. They are pretty recent, though. And I think the biggest one out of the bunch is Short Hike. So they are kind of an indie vibe, kind of a feel-good vibe to these games as well. But hey, you're getting a triple shot of free PC games from Epic Games this week. Before I jump to the news, a couple of things I did want to talk about. People have, messaged me and emailed me asking, so what do you think of this COVID-19? What do you think they're gonna cancel all the gaming conventions this summer? What do I think is going to happen with shipping schedules as far as board games and role-playing games, things like that are actually printed and manufactured overseas? Well, first off, I'm going to tell you right now, yes, it's going to throw a wrench into a lot of plans out there. As far as the conventions in the summer, I don't foresee those being canceled yet. That's not to say come late May, we don't see, say, like Origins Game Fair, Gen Con, San Diego Comic Con is a big show that we're actually staying right down the street for the first time ever. And of course, this would be the year that they'll cancel it because of COVID-19. But regardless, I know people are getting upset because every sports season, every sports league has either suspended operations towards the end of their seasons, or like Major League Baseball, they have suspended spring training. They're pushing back the start of the season as well, which of course, depending on how long this goes on, that means they've got to go back and have some sort of not necessarily a spring training, but you're going to have some sort of training camp, be it maybe in their home cities. So I know people are upset about that, but the way I kind of look at it is, you got to be proactive for this prevention here. I'll be very honest, and I try not to get political. I almost said predictable. Try not to be predictable. Well, I'm pretty much not that. I try not to be political on the show. I am political in real life, not crazy political, but I do follow politics, and I follow news from a variety of sources. And I will point out that I would be listening to health officials as opposed to elected officials, let's say. I would not be listening to government officials and trying to whitewash things like that. Something else I do want to point out, it's probably in your best interest to get your news from a variety of sources. I am not going to name a specific network. I think everybody kind of knows that I lean to the left. But they have been very disingenuous with their news that they have been providing about COVID-19 here in the US. Now they're starting to change their tune a little bit. So if you get your news from one location, that is not good for you. I will tell you that right now, because every network has kind of their leaning. Some lean a bit to one side, some are completely toppled over into the other camp. But make sure that, as far as I look at it, listen to health officials, what they are saying in your location, in your hometown, home state, home country, wherever you might be, wherever you might be watching, and just play it safe. I'm not telling people to go out there and be crazy and panic, things like that. And yes, it's true, more people die from the flu so far on a yearly basis. The only thing is, far more people get the flu than COVID-19. COVID-19 is actually 10 times more deadly than common influenza. So, like I said, just be careful. Don't be crazy. Don't create your own hand sanitizer and go run out there and buy a truckload of toilet paper and crazy things like that. But wash your hands. You should wash your hands anyway. Don't touch your face. Try to, stay out of people's personal space. I'm one of these people who do that all the time. Anyway, that's just how I grew up. I'm not right up on top. I'm not a close talker or anything like that. So just wanted to point that out. Just wanted to share that. So Flaming Heron and Kevin Thorpe have popped in for chat tonight as well. So Flaming Heron says, yeah, it's not going to be convenient for people, but no one wants a pandemic happening. Well, we're in a pandemic, which all that basically means is that it's around the world. It's spread from person to person. That's it. People are free. Oh, it's a pandemic. Yeah, it's just a term. There's a lot. We've had pandemics in the past. I will mention something about that pandemic thing, though. So Kevin Thorpe also says, I'm game mastering at Gloranthacon in the UK this year. It's still going on so far. Cool. And, I don't want to see Gen Con get canceled. I don't want to see Comic Con get canceled, or Origins, or smaller shows and things like that. Of course not. I don't want to see that. But when it comes to, looking out for the health of not only yourself, but other people, got to be proactive. So talking about pandemic, I did tweet, if you follow me on Twitter at The Gaming Gang, I tweeted last night because I saw a bunch of these stupid jokes talking about, well, I played Plague Inc. So that means I'm prepared and I won't be dying like these dumbasses. Or I played Pandemic and, I I get it's like they think it's gallows humor. In fact, somebody pointed out to me, oh, it's just gallows humor. But I had tweeted, you know what? I don't find those jokes funny. I don't find those jokes funny from gamers. And, I'm old school. I come from an age where we didn't sit there and think that something that was killing people needlessly was like the subject of jokes. And of course, somebody had tweeted me and said, oh, well, it's just gallows humor. And I pointed out, well, I get gallows humor. Gallows humor is when you're heading to the gallows, not when somebody's hanging there blowing in the breeze. That's different. And then someone else had tweeted me saying, oh, well, humanity is always taking pleasure in other people's suffering. And this generation is the most, the kindest and shit like that. And I was like, absolutely not. Kindest and most humane generation ever. And I responded, absolutely not. In this age of anonymity on the internet where you can say anything you want, and cruelty and bullying and children committing suicide because of bullies, which that shit didn't happen when I was a kid. No, this is not the kindest, most humane generation of all time. And of course, it's somebody who's in their 20s. So it's like, no doubt one of these people was like, well, anything that happened before I was born doesn't really matter. Or possibly another one of these people where it's like, oh, well, my generation, we solved that problem that didn't exist. Trust me, this younger generation now is not going to be the greatest generation by any stretch. But that said, it's like, come on, let's get real. I mean, I wouldn't sit there and joke about someone's grandparents dying from this or anything. I mean, people are just twisted. So, Grade A says we finished our basic fantasy Morgan's Fort campaign Saturday. Not sure what's next. Trying to run the Dungeon Crawl Classic Lankmar box set. Very cool. I like the Lankmar releases that came out for Savage Worlds. So Flaming Heron says, I got a giggle out of it, and you could be ultra safe and go the full hazmat suit like the UK model Naomi Campbell. Yes, that would be kind of... I understand, you got to have a sense of humor. It's just not making fun of people at their expense when they're either dying or their family members are dying. To me, that is not funny. So, and I understand. I'm sure everybody watching this understands what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't poke fun at it just to avoid panicking over everything, right? Because it is COVID-19 24/7. So, anyway, just wanted to throw that out. Something else before I jump into the news. So, I am almost done watching Hunters on Amazon. I've got 2 episodes to go. And I swear, the jury is still out on that show as far as what I think of it. Because it's just odd. I don't know if anybody out there is watching it. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, who plans to watch it. But it's heavily influenced by Quentin Tarantino and kind of those 1970s exploitation kind of movies. But it's just bizarrely... Like, it'll go 1 minute they're sharing a heartbreaking story about the Holocaust, and then the next it's kind of like a satire of television game shows, and it's called Why Does Everybody Hate the Jews? And it's like, ding, because of this, ding, because of this. I'm like, it's weird. And Al Pacino's good in it. It's another thing, Al Pacino's not Jewish. So it's kind of odd to watch Al Pacino playing like and he's not elderly, but he's an older Jewish man, that character, and it's kind of like, So Kevin Thorpe says, I've been watching War of the Worlds on Fox. I have not seen War of the Worlds. I have heard, I think, isn't that the show that's out of the UK, right? It's on, what, ITV or BBC, something like that. I've heard good and bad. Flaming Huron's talking about people hoarding toilet paper in Australia. It's going on here too. Yep, in the Chicago area, on the burbs. Everybody's doing that. Of course, you can't find like Lysol anywhere, and it's like, seriously, toilet paper? I mean, if things got so bad, what do you think people did with like diapers back in the day when you didn't have disposable diapers? Think you could wipe your ass with a towel? Seal a bag up, wash those. Why do you got to go out and like buy up 6 months worth of toilet paper? It just makes absolutely no sense. So Kabuki Kid is popping in as well. What's up with toilet paper? Double K is asking. Yeah, we were talking a little COVID-19. All right, let's move on. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. I mean, hopefully I'm not coming across like I'm like, oh, doom and gloom, man. Doom and gloom. We're game over, man. Game over. No, not at all. Just saying, hey, be smart. Don't just listen to what politicians are telling you, because I'll tell you what, many of those politicians really don't care about their constituents' health. They just care about staying in power. All right, moving right along. Let's get into our first news piece, because all week long I've been talking about new releases coming from Funko Games. They supposedly have promised, I believe this was at New York Toy Fair, they'd promised dozens of new games for 2020. And I gotta be honest, I've been sharing these news pieces because these games seem pretty cool. I mean, if they all look like junk, I'd be like, bothering. So, as I mentioned, they got a slew of new titles, and one that really has caught my eye, I think this would be probably a big hit with my brother as well, is Pan Am. Here's a wee bit of dope about it, because there isn't much. In Pan Am, players compete with Pan American Airlines and others to build an air travel empire. Outbid rivals for lucrative landing rights, buy planes with longer range to reach the far corners of the world, and use insider connections to advance your interests. As you bump up against the ever-growing Pan Am, you can sell your routes to the company to earn a tidy profit, with you then using that money to invest in other growth or purchase Pan Am stock for what's sure to be a big payout down the road. Well, as long as you collect on that before 1991, when they went belly up. Pan Am is a game of global strategy that spans 4 decades of industry-changing historic events. Each game of Pan Am will take place across 4 in-game decades, and random game-altering historical events will occur every playthrough. Pan Am is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around an hour, and will carry an MSRP of $34.99 when it arrives in June. Once again, very friendly price points. There are no preview images about for the actual game itself, like we have seen for some of the other releases, such as Back to the Future, Back in Time, that we took a peek at yesterday. But this looks like this could be pretty interesting. I will take a stab, not seeing anything that comes with this game, I will take a stab that it's probably got little airplanes in it. Just a guess. Just a guess there. But it's supposed to be kind of like the golden age of air travel, and you are running your own airline. So pretty cool, pretty interesting. I gotta be honest, I was around when Pan Am, I was, I guess an adult, we'll say, even though I don't act like one now. But I was always a TWA fan. I don't know why. Always liked TWA as far as like an international airline as opposed to Pan Am. I don't know. Maybe it was because they just had, the flight attendants had cooler uniforms, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know. Tell you what you could do. You could play Pan Am and then play the music from Airport. Or put Airport on with Dean Martin. Dun, 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 dun. My brother loves that movie. My brother works in the airline industry, so does my sister-in-law. So, yes, Burt Lancaster and Dean Martin. Good deal. It is a classic movie. The First Airport is actually a pretty damn good movie. George Kennedy, too. Come on, baby! Come on! As he's trying to get that jet out that's stuck in the snow. Anyway, if you have not seen Airport, check it out. Let's see what else we got here. Kabuki Kid is saying, just don't understand the toilet paper craze. Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, there are people all across social media posting pictures that they're taking at their local stores with their toilet paper area all completely gone, wiped clean. No pun intended. So Kabuki Kid said, just saw that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy turns 42 this year. Yeah, I remember reading that in high school. We got turned on to that in high school. So that would have been 81. So that would have had to have been out for a few years when we first started reading it. I think the first 2 books were out when we got turned on to it, but all of us were reading it. It was pretty funny. There were like 4 or 5 of us all reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy at the same time, or, whatever books in the series, right? Just like I remember now, if you watch the show, my best friend's Elliot Miller used to be part of the gaming gang as well. We used to have a thing where we would be reading the same book when we were in high school, and it'd be like, hey, have you gotten what part have you gotten to? And it'd be like, you give like a little hint and be like, oh wait, no, I haven't gotten to that point yet. Don't tell me anything. Like spoilers for books. But it was pretty funny. So we used to read like Stephen King and Peter Straub and things like that, and kind of compare our notes, what we thought. So Kabuki Kid says that her boyfriend was at the grocery store earlier and said it was bonkers. There was a report earlier today, and I'm talking this from like the Chicago area, that I think it was a Meijer's, which is just it's a big superstore, that they were talking at Meijer's that they were doing more business today than they did on Black Friday. I guess it's like that at Walmart's as well. So very, very strange. And Kabuki Kid says, yeah, they were around reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy about the same time. Good old Douglas Adams. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Mostly harmless. Trilogy told in 4 parts, yes. I have to be honest, I started reading, I remember the Dirk Gently books came out, and I just couldn't get into them. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. Yes, trivia. Name the script that Douglas Adams wrote for Doctor Who. Was that the episode with... No, maybe not. I was going to say with Tom Baker that's, like, disappeared. But the episode that is, like, the lost episode. Anyway, yes. Good old 42, right? 42. Oh, City of Death in Paris. I don't know. Not familiar. Double K says, yeah, they didn't get into Dirk Gently either. Let's move on to our next news piece, because there is there's a Kickstarter going on right now. It is for a board game whose subject is based on Matt Kint's mind management comic book. It's from Off the Page Games. Here's the dope. Working in the shadows, mind management once used its psychically powered agents to put a stop to global crises. However, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Sounds like The Boys. And mind management is now rotting from the inside. To tighten its iron grip on the world stage, mind management deploys covert operatives around the world to recruit other psychically attuned individuals to their side. How can this enigmatic organization hell-bent on global domination be defeated. Thankfully, a few renegade agents have figured out that mind management has been compromised and have defected, turning their backs on the syndicate. They now use their own psychic abilities to prevent mind management from archiving and achieving its nefarious goals. In Mind Management, the psychic espionage game in quotes, one player controls mind management and must scour the city for new recruits. They move around on a secret board, trying to visit locations that match one of their 3 randomly drawn recruitment cards. They can also use their 4 immortals to protect locations from being exposed. All other players control the rogue agents who must try to stop mind management before it's too late. When they move onto a block, they can ask the mind management player whether they have ever been on a block that contains one of the features shown on the block where the rogue agent is currently located. If the mind management player has been on one, they must place a step token on that block on the board. If a rogue agent lands on a block with a step token, they can use their action to reveal it, and the mind management player then indicates during which of their turns they were on that block. What were you there? Rogue agents can use mental notes to track all the information they're given. Even when mind management answers no to a question, that means that they've never been on a block with that feature. There are always 5 blocks with each feature. Mind management wins by either collecting 13 recruits or surviving 15 turns. The rogue agents can win only by capturing mind management, which they do when they believe they're on the same block as mind management. There is a Kickstarter video. It's about 2 minutes long. So let's take a peek.
Welcome. We'd like to show you how to play this game.
Mind Management, the psychic espionage game, is a hidden movement game for 2 to 5 players that plays in less than an hour. One player takes the role of the Mind Management Recruiter, a shadowy organization that uses highly trained psychic agents to influence world events. The opposing players team up as the Rogue Agents, resistance operatives intent on keeping minds free. So, while Mind Management moves in secret, trying to warp minds and recruit more agents, the Rogue Agents must work together by moving around the board, asking questions, and revealing information about where the recruiter has been, all in an effort to pinpoint the exact location of the Mind Management Recruiter. The Rogue Agents are armed with psychic abilities of their own and unique, infinite-use mental note tokens. But they're also up against the unkillable Immortals, who protect Mind Management and can also recruit new agents themselves. If Mind Management can gain 12 recruits or evade capture long enough, they will control the definition of truth and win the game. Mind Management introduces the shift system, where the losing side opens a package that contains new, game-changing items. Nothing is ever destroyed, and everything is reusable. Mind Management, the psychic espionage game, is a tense, paranoia-fueled game of deduction and second-guessing from off-the-page games. Do you have what it takes to shut down Mind Management for good?
Mind Management is for 2 to 5 players ages 13 and up. Plays in around 60 minutes. The project is over 200% funded. You can reserve a copy of the game for a $47 pledge. This is a project that is not located in the US. So I want to say, I think it comes out to like $47.71 right now with the exchange rate. Expected delivery is February of next year. This looks like it could be kind of interesting, right? You know what? In fact, I think a grade 8, that it sounds like a board game of Babylon 5 Psycore. And, you know, to me, it almost reminds me a little bit of Cryptid from Osprey Games. which is actually really good. We really enjoyed that game. Very easy to get into. So, and I'm surprised. Well, if we had, is it a Gray Day who was like, oh man, they should have hired an artist for that one game the other night? As you can see, this has a unique style. I'm pretty sure it's based on the comic. So, and I kind of get the feeling that this is supposed to be kind of like the 1960s, something like that. Could be kind of cool. That's why I wanted to share the Kickstarter. It is. You still have like 21 days to pledge. So this is a pretty fresh Kickstarter project. So Dan Lane has popped in. Welcome aboard, Dan. So let's see what we got. Oh, so Great Ace talking about City of Death was the episode for Tom Baker's Doctor that was filmed in Paris. And and I remember the Jaggeroth. That rings a bell. It really does. I was going to say, for some reason, I always want to say that the title of the episode is Shaka, which is not correct. It's similar to that. It's kind of like the lost Tom Baker episode of Doctor Who. So yeah, we've talked a little Doctor Who this week. I think this is like the third time it's come up on the show this week. So since we're talking a little Doctor Who, let me once again remind you, you still have some time left to get that awesome humble bundle of Doctor Who comics from Titan Comics and Doctor Who audio from Big Finish. So don't miss out. The Big Finish audio are usually really, really good. And they tend to be a bit pricey, I guess I'll say. So $25 for like 4 1-hour adventures. It's a little pricey, So you can get a bunch of that, and it's $15 for the highest tier of Humble Bundle. And it's, well, what was it, like $648 worth of stuff? So go to humblebundle.com. Check it out. I think you got about 6 days left. A Great Day says it was Shada or Shada. Thank you. Shaka when the walls fell, says Kabuki Kid. Actually, when I said Shaka, first thing that popped in my head is Shaka Zulu. That war gamer in me, right? Dan Lane says, my friend uses a Doctor Who booth for terrain and crisis protocol. That's cool. It's very cool. Move on to our third news piece tonight. I've got 5. So, you notice now that with just doing news, we just kind of chat and have some fun. I guarantee I'm going to get more thumbs down. Already seen more negativity. It's like, whatever. It's my show. Do what I want. Anyway, there is a GMT game offering on the P500, which you should take a peek at, because if you saw my review of Ancient Civilizations of the Inner Sea, I should say, then you may want to check out Ancient Civilizations of the Middle East. Oh, yes. Right there. Anyway, so here's the dope. If you liked Ancient Civilizations of the Inner Sea, you are going to love Ancient Civilizations of the Middle East. So what if I loved Ancient Civilizations of the Inner Sea? Am I going to want to marry Ancient Civilizations of the Middle East? Anyway, Ancient Civilizations of the Middle East, ACME for short, is brought to you by the same team that created Ancient Civilizations of the Inner Sea. ACME is not a sequel nor an expansion, but a standalone game using the same multiplayer and solitaire systems as its predecessor, with many new and exciting features to intrigue its players, including deities. Instead of building the wonders of the world, here you get to establish the deities of the biblical era, including you-know-who, the one who demanded, "Let my people go. Let my people go." I don't know if that's actually from anything, but we used to sing that when we were in high school, and we were kind of referencing Moses as like a gag. If we were high school kids, what do you expect? An all-new deck of 110 cards, many of which allow you to inflict disasters and defeats of, well, biblical proportions upon your opponents. One civilization can even capture the deity of another and take its statue back to its capital to demonstrate its military and theological superiority. There are rugged mountain areas with blocks to signify strongholds, fertile river valleys where even cities or a single disc camp could grow population. There are also vast deserts where stacking is severely limited and growth prohibited. And of course, the rolling plains and churning seas found in ancient civilizations of the Inner Sea. Acme is a game of the chaos-inducing wrath of gods and men, a chaos each player does their utmost to manage, survive, and guide their civilization through to triumphant victory. Spanning the ancient world from the Hellespont to the Indus, from the Caspian to the Red Sea, from the early Bronze Age to the Hellenic Age, ancient civilizations of the Middle East allows you to command not just 10, but 16 civilizations. Ancient Civilizations of the Middle East is for 1 to 6 players, ages 12 and up, plays in 2 or more hours. You can reserve a copy of the game on the P500. It has made the cut, but as we've discussed before, usually GMT looks for more than 500 pre-orders before they actually start having the game produced. So you can still get on board for a price tag of $69, while the final MSRP is expected to be $90. I really enjoyed the Ancient Civilizations of the Inner Sea. So we have had a lot of fun with it. It kind of scratches that old diplomacy itch without getting too odd. Because for one, you're not plotting your moves after your diplomacy phase. So, I mean, there is a lot of take that in the game, but it's not like, oh, I promised I would do this, and now up yours. So, like you get in diplomacy. So, I want to point that out. This is, it is over the 500 pre-orders. I'm not sure when GMT might decide that they're going to pull the trigger on this, but we are going to see it. Let's see. Dan Lane says, 1 player, I'm sold. Flaming Huron, all I remember when you said, let my people go, was Cameron and Ferris Bueller's Day Off saying, that's it. That is where it comes from. When Cameron was in Egypt's land, let my Cameron go. Yep. Because I think it's a reference to 10 Commandments, maybe? A Great A says, Phil Hartman's the best Chuck Heston. Yeah, that was definitely a song, says Double K. Yeah, I think it was from the 10 Commandments, but I gotta be honest, I think I've seen the 10 Commandments once. Number 1, I am not the biggest Charlton Heston fan. Although, Touch of Evil is pretty damn good in it. I remember Charlton Heston more from the weirdo 70s movies that he was always chewing the scenery from. But, yeah, I've only seen the 10 Commandments once. And I don't remember there being a lot of singing and dancing in it. So, wasn't Jesus Christ Superstar, right? Alrighty, moving right along. The latest bundle of Holding is available now. It features the Blue Rose role-playing game from Green Ronin Publishing. Here's the dope. Adventurer! This all-new Blue Rose bundle presents the 2017 second edition of Blue Rose, the tabletop role-playing game of romantic fantasy from Green Ronin Publishing. Inspired by authors like Mercedes Lackey, Diane Duane, Tamara Pierce, and many more, Blue Rose makes you an envoy in service to the sovereign of the peaceful and prosperous kingdom of Aldea. As much problem solvers and diplomats as warriors, envoys uphold civilization's ideals and protect ordinary people from danger. Aided by the Rodan. Wait, Rodan's in this? You mean like from Godzilla? Oh, sorry, Rodan. Your psychic animal allies. You and your companions guard your homeland from aggressive neighbors, ancient monsters and artifacts, and a resurgent shadow. The new edition of Blue Rose uses Green Ronin's adventure game engine the popular rules that power the Fantasy Age and Dragon Age RPGs. This offer brings you the entire Blue Rose 2E role-playing line, plus fiction and play aids, for an unbeatable bargain price. For just $7.95, you get all 4 titles in the starter collection with a retail value of $48 as PDF ebooks, including the complete full-color 384-page Blue Rose 2nd Edition core rulebook, the full-length novel Shadow Tide and its sequel novella Pit of Vipers, and the brand new 14-story collection Sovereigns of the Blue Rose. If you pay more than the threshold price of $20.50, you'll level up and also get the entire bonus collection with 5 more titles worth an additional $51, including the rest of the Blue Rose 2nd Edition gaming line. Aldous, City of the Blue Rose, the Adventure Collection 6 of Swords, and the Blue Rose Narrator's Kit, plus 2 more short stories. You can score these savings, and gotta remember, 10% of your purchase does go to a charity after, the gateway fees, 10%. And this time out, you can help the Pride Foundation through March 31st. I gotta be honest, I am not overly familiar with Blue Rose. I do understand it's kind of a divisive role-playing game with some people who are, let's say, less open-minded in this world. So, it is romantic fantasy. So it's not going to be grim and gritty, or it's certainly not, something from like Games Workshop, sort of grimdark whatsoever. But it is popular. I do know it is a popular system. I know it's one of the better selling role-playing games that Green Ronin has as well. All right, Go Down Moses, Let My People Go, song by Fats Waller, says Kabuki Kid. Loved him in Planet of the Apes. Yeah. You damn dirty apes! You did it! You sons of bitches did it! Chewing that scenery, baby. Flaming Huron says, Blue Rose looks great, and I do love the age system for running games. Well, here you go. You get an opportunity to check it out at a pretty sweet price. Although I will admit that starter collection for the $7.95, you're really only getting the core book. Yes, you're getting the fiction and all that other stuff. But game-wise, just kind of a core book. But I was a little surprised. So, anyway, Go Down Moses is a hymn, I believe. Could be. My final news piece. It's too bad the Madman's not here, because we're going to talk a little Savage Worlds. Because there is a new setting which is available for the popular Savage Worlds system. It is from Bumblebear Games. I will mention something odd about them in a moment. But here's the dope on Guardians of Umbra. In the madness of World War II, a new power arises. Their Tesla-inspired technology creates fearsome and powerful new weapons on the battlefield. A backlash from a Tesla arc opens a portal to the realm of Umbra, from which monsters of fairy tale and legend return to Earth. Long ago, these creatures suffered being hunted and killed by humanity. Now they claim humans have captured their goddess. They are the Aosai, and they have returned for vengeance. Bum, bum, bum. The Guardians of Umbra core book contains everything needed for players to create an Aosai from one of 12 races, each with their own unique abilities. With new edges, hindrances, spells, and gear, the player can take the fight to the corrupt Tesla core and reclaim Earth. This book includes an all-new arcane background, the Viscomancer, collect parts from the bodies of your fallen foes to empower your magic, enchant new relics to empower your adventures, or steal the Tesla tech weapons from your enemies and unleash a wave of electrical annihilation. The 120-page core book is available in PDF right now at DriveThruRPG for $10. Then there's the Guardians of Umbra Game Master's Guide. Tesla punk zombies, Nazis, and feral monsters are the least of a hero's problems when there are dark omens on the horizon. This Game Master's Guide for Guardians of Umbra contains unique locations and intriguing people for countries across the Earth and Umbra. This book also contains random encounter charts that can be used to challenge even the most cunning players. I have a cunning plan, my lord! The tides of battle change when the heroes find powerful artifacts located within, or doom themselves as a cursed relic reveals its true nature and destroys them. A Game Master can run their players through the all-new Dark Omens Plot Points campaign, taking their heroes from novice to veteran as they uncover dark secrets and attempt to save both worlds. With a collection of unique antagonists, this campaign adds to the bestiary, which contains nearly 40 new antagonists and allies. The 112-page GM guide is also available in PDF at DriveThruRPG for $10. Gotta say, this sounds interesting. I kind of like the aspect where it's World War II with all of a sudden open up a portal and all these like legendary like fantasy critters and stuff come pouring through. I think that sounds kind of cool. I gotta be honest though, it doesn't sound too World War II-ish to start off with, because there's like Tesla inventions and things like that. I don't know. But like I said, this does sound like it could be interesting. I always enjoyed the Harry Turtledove series of alternate history books where these aliens invade Earth during World War II. So, pretty interesting concept. I'm surprised we have never seen anybody tackle that as a role-playing game. Gotten some licensing from Harry Turtledove. I like Harry Turtledove in some respects because he comes up with some interesting concepts, especially his alternate American Civil War. His characters are so paper thin, though. That is the problem that I always have with Harry Turtledove. I mean, they're very, very two-dimensional at best as far as his characters go. But still very, very interesting concepts. I did read, In the Balance? Is that the series? Is that what it's called? I think it's called In the Balance. Because Turtledove has all these different alternate history series. Some much more historical than others. And I want to say, I think the one I'm talking about is called In the Balance. So let's see what was cooking here in chat. Oh, I should mention, I was talking about DriveThruRPG. So keep in mind, there is still the Game Masters Day sale going on. I think it runs through Sunday. So you can still score some pretty sweet deals on PDFs. And of course, DriveThruRPG and the other One Bookshelf sites are affiliated with us, or I should say we're affiliated with them. So if you are going to visit, say, DriveThruRPG or maybe DM's Guild or Board Game Vault, please stop by thegaminggang.com first, click on one of our banner ads, and that way if you make a purchase, little piece of that purchase comes my way. And they all add up and they all help out. So, and not only does it keep the Gaming Gang around, because usually on a monthly basis it pays for our not cheap hosting, but it also provided a bunch of contest winners when we hit 2,100 subscribers on the YouTube channel not too long ago, eh? In fact, I think now we are 12 subscribers away from 2,200. Pretty fast 100 we pulled off there. So, anyway, I'll have to figure something out as far as maybe another contest to celebrate yet another 100 subscribers. All right, so let's take a quick peek at what was going on in chat. Is it just me, or are RPGs getting pumped out expeditiously, says a grade A? Oh, that's kind of always been the case. There is... So I really dig DriveThruRPG. I mean, if I thought they sucked, I would not have any affiliation with them, whatever. Even though we get a little bit of a commission on what people buy using our links. But I will be the first to admit, I would not trust the review system on any of the One Bookshelf sites, because there is stuff that I have heard is just awful that has like 5 stars. So it's like, and it's not Drive Through RPG's fault. You know, they have actually had to deal with some publishers. There's one person in particular I'm not going to get into, but Drive Through had to change their whole policy on how they rated stuff as like what kind of like mithril seller and stuff like that. You know, copper seller, gold seller. You know, how many people have purchased these games, because the publisher, what they would do is they would lower the price to a penny, and then they themselves would purchase all these copies and then put the price back to what it was. So then they were getting, oh, well, all these sales. Always somebody trying to, you know, screw with the system. But yes, there's some cool stuff. There's some really cool stuff that flies under our radars, flies under my radar, I'm sure. So that's why I kind of, you know, try to peek around, see what's going on. Drive Through RPG, kind of bring you some stuff that is off the beaten path. It's not always like, oh, hey, look at the latest release from ABC Company that you constantly hear news about. You know, share some love for some smaller publishers. Now, I was going to mention this Bumblebear Games. I always try to find a website so that I can refer you to the website in the images, even if I'm talking about a PDF that's on Drive Through RPG. The only time I share it as a Drive Through RPG web address is when the company doesn't have a website, or they have some oddball, weird ass web address that's like super long, or it's blah blah site / blah blah / blah blah, whatever, you know. This Bumblebear Games, there's actually another company called Bumblebear Games, and they're an arcade game company and have absolutely nothing to do with this role-playing game, because I looked. So it's kind of like, so how are you just calling your company Bumblebear Games when there's another company out there with that same title? It usually doesn't fly now, does it? Anyway, so Flaming Heron says, my wish list will look like Swiss cheese by the time the GMT Games sale comes to a close. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Personally, I think the best sale that we see at Drive Through RPG on a yearly basis is the Christmas and July sale. That tends to have the best percentage off almost site-wide. I'm usually surprised, because there's usually some titles whenever Drive Through or any of the sites are having sales. Never fails. There's always some company that's like, nah, we're not part of it. And you're like, whoa. You're like, seriously? There's like 40,000 items on sale here, and you don't want to be part of that. Okay. Great Day says, I'm running a game on Friday night and Sunday, then switching in and out on Saturdays. So running D&D on Sunday in Kids Easy mode. That's cool. I'm glad to see that. Yeah. D&D is kind of... fantasy role-playing games are pretty easy to just plug into just about any age group. Horror games, which are kind of my forte, don't. Because I don't like do the like R.L. Stein, ooh, scary kids, scary sort of stuff. Anyway, so yep, and kids really do love the D&D thing, as Flaming Heron points out. All right, so our show today. I did start a little late. Sorry about that. Another oddball sound issue. I don't know what the deal was. So anyway, I fixed it, but it comes and goes. In sync, out of sync, in sync, out of sync. Kind of thing. But hey, hopefully it wasn't like you were watching a dubbed stream. So, all right. Kabuki Kid asks, have I ever played Cult? I have not. I am somewhat familiar with it. I have never read through or anything like that. I don't know. It just, to me, it just doesn't seem like it would maybe be up my alley. But it's like like weird horror movies. Then I don't tend to watch a lot of horror movies because some of them are just like the point of the movie is just a gross out. And to me, I don't find that scary. I just sit there and go, "Oh wow, those are pretty good practical effects." So, yeah, or go, "Oh man, really? Did you have to go like that far with that?" That's kind of how I look at a lot of them. But I have heard of Cult. In fact, I think it was fairly recently that they released the second edition of it. So anyway, maybe I'll look into it one day. So anyway, that is it for tonight's show. That is it for shows this week. Do want to mention next week, no show on St. Patrick's Day. So that is a day that we get together at my brother's. For one, to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and we also kind of celebrate the fact that I'm still on this earth because of that near fatal heart attack that I had right before St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. So knock on wood, still ticking. But anyway, what I might do next week, I don't know. I might do a Friday show to make up for no show on Tuesday. All depends. But be sure to keep an eye out. I will have my first look at the 12th Doctor source book for Doctor Who, the role-playing game. That will be up. And if I have an opportunity, I will certainly do that as well with the 4th Doctor. Yes, my Doctor. And as soon as D&D Explorer's Guide to Wildemount arrives, I will have a video for that, hopefully same day. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that shows up tomorrow, and then I will actually just record that during the slot I'd usually be doing the show. So let's see, finish up in chat, and then we will roll on out. Flaming Heron says it's like the only time I buy stuff generally is sale time. If it's a choice on a new PC title or a role-playing PDF, generally it's a new PC title. Yeah, I can see that. I understand that. And that's why I tend to share, hey, it's Thursday, go get those freebies on Epic Games Store. So because I play PC games too. I'm almost done with my Divinity Original Sin 2 run. We're at level 19, so we're getting close to the end. New York St. Patrick's Day Parade canceled after 200 years. Broadway's shut down for a month. There's a lot of stuff that's shut down. I saw before coming on that Disneyland will be closed. I want to say starting, I think it's starting the 14th. It's not starting tomorrow. And it will only be the 4th time ever that Disneyland has closed. Once was for September 11th. Once was for an earthquake. And the other time was a day of mourning following the assassination of JFK. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. Yes, we are seeing some things that we have not seen too often in the past. I just saw there was a restaurant in Rome that had been open for 53 years. Christmas Day, New Year's Day, various Italian holidays, always open. Today, they were closed for the first time in 53 years. So this coronavirus is going to change the way we live our lives. But I hope you're not going to let it, kind of just rule your life, because that doesn't make too much sense. Okay. That is it for tonight's show. As I mentioned, no show tomorrow. I only do Mondays through Thursdays now, but I will be back on Monday. Of course, if you like the show, please give it a thumbs up. Fight those trolls out there giving thumbs down for, I don't know, whatever reason. Subscribe to the channel as well, because if you do, don't forget, ring that little bell, because it will not only notify you when the Daily Dope streams live Mondays through Thursdays, it'll also tell you when my standalone videos are uploaded as well. So everybody who was hanging out in chat tonight, thank you very much. Of course, when you're not watching live or watching on Memorex, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And of course, everybody have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekends. Be careful out there. As I mentioned before, take precautions. Don't let this rule your life, but don't do silly things either. And I hope to see everybody on Monday. And until then, happy trails. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. And of course, if you want to catch up on past episodes of The Daily Dope, check out this playlist. And if you'd like to see what YouTube's recommending you take a peek at from the channel, just give a click right over here. Of course, I'm Jeff McAleer, and once again, thank you very much for watching.